So there we go. I saw the SCVs going out. I'm like, oh, it's beyond proxy. And then I'm like, okay, he's just building something here. But no. Proxy T-Rex here for our first game of the day. And we're just going to have to see whether this turns out into anything good for the Shopify Terran and player. And look at this. Solar, he's not going to get the scout off. He is not going in the proper position. Oh, wait, never mind. He is. The original path was said no. It's kind of funny. The amount of times that a Korean player goes, or really a player in general, let's not regionalize this properly. The amount of time a player goes, and they say, yeah, I'm going to go scout this. And then the last second, they're like, no. It's clearly not there. Let me go scout somewhere else. And then you're like, well, they would have scouted it. Similarly, the amount of times that we see a player go and they're not going to scout it, then something about something. Not exactly sure what it is, a star sense, an idea, whatever the case may be. They then reposition. They're like, oh, I know what I got to do now. And then they're actually able to scout it. And that's what happened here with Solar. Means BYUN, he may opt to commit to this. Now, he knows he has been scouted, right? The drone went on out. We already have drones patrolling here, looking to prevent a bunker. I think they're going to be successful there. And, well, we're going to have our spawning pool done soon. And that is going to be done as well, which means we're not going to see bunkers too close to the base. Although, actually, these are going to be some fairly nice bunker positions regardless. I believe this is in range. I believe this bunker is in range of the base. But now, okay, Solar's just going to pull everything at this point. He's like, ah, to hell with this. I've zoned out well enough. I've done a good job of mining here and not losing anything. And oh, he's still not going to lose a single drone. Now, Zerglings are underway. We already have 2 of them. But Solar does need to be careful. All right, he does want to make sure the spine goes up because spine is what guarantees the hold. And actually, okay, so there we go. The drones are going to get pulled here. And Zerglings are going to get on top of these Marines. One Marine goes down. Second Marine is going to go down rather shortly as well. And STV is dead. So yes, there's a bunker here. But the drones are doing a fantastic job of not dying. Although, how many have died? Yeah, one drone has died in this game. Because Solar is just disgusting and filthy and fantastic at making this hold happen. This is not going to work, folks. Not anymore. There is a spine in front. It is only a proxy T-Rex. There are 2 queens in the front as well. This is a dead BYUN in this game number 1. Not impossible for him to come back, of course, but certainly not looking great. And I'm sorry, when I say dead BYUN, as we all know, you can go macro out of a proxy T-Rex. This is a dead rush. That's a better way to say that. Because, well, the barracks are floating on home. There's no way that BYUN really punches on through here. Not with a spine, not with 2 queens, not with the Zerglings. But hey, he will get the creep tumor. That's nice. It does prevent Solar from expanding just a little bit more. And we see no Roach Warren in the main base. Actually, we see no gas at all. Well, I lied. We got gas on in the natural. Surprising to see gas in the natural first. But I guess that makes sense, of course, because Solar pulled all of his workers to the natural. And that just makes life a little bit easier. Well, like, okay, well, I pulled him anyways. I might as well just do my standard main base stuff in the natural there. Why not? But Solar is really not transitioning out of this all that quickly, right? He's just building more and more workers. I would expect to see him get a 3rd base soon. Speed is now underway. And beyond for his part, he has saved both barracks. We might see something like what we saw with Milky Cow today against Lambo, where he goes for the 2 racks and doesn't get much done, but that's fine because he sets himself up for 2-1-1 behind that and just hits with a couple tanks, medevacs, stim bio, all of that fun stuff. Since when did qualifiers get English fast? Pretty much since the start of this year, maybe last season of GSL last year. Well, no, I think it was last year actually, like season 2, season 3 of last year, where Alpha X convinced the GSL to go and give us the replays, and then Creighton did that first stream where I think he had like Zombie Grove and some other people doing it. And after that, we have been doing this every season. Certainly every season this year. I know I did season 1. I was not able to do season 2, but here I am back in the season 3. But anyways, looks like beyond the very least, he will be able to cancel that 3rd base. Second time, I mean, the Hellions should not get all that much done. But beyond now, he's going into Banshees here. Do we have any detection? No, not really. I mean, what? We have, how many Banshees do we have on the map right now? We have 1. Soon there's going to be a 2nd. Cloak is on the way. And again, there's no detection here. Solar, I mean, he still has time. He can still do what he wants, but it's looking more and more like these Banshees will start to get at least some amount of damage in this game as the Hellions again marauding around, just trying to find some sorts of value, some sorts of damage here. It's only 5 of them, so it's not all that much, but hey, you know what? You can always find something. All right, so Banshee's going to dive on into the main base here. And yeah, zero detection in this game. Now, Hellions, they're going to try to find something. They will be wildly unsuccessful. Zerglings try to run on in, but there are enough Marines there. So Banshee's just gonna kill off a lot of workers. Let's take it. Yeah, that's just gonna be a GG. Solar takes game number 1. And into the upper left, in the red, down 1 game in this series, but it's a big map. And we've seen him do well on this one before. He is Katsa Gaming, Solar. And on the bottom right-hand side of the map here, in the blue, he is up 1 game in this series off of a vastly successful Banshee play. Give it up for Shopify Rebellion's BYUN. And the Shopify logo just doesn't fit into any of my overlays. It's a problem. I'll figure it out someday. Like the Solar, he's like, yeah, no. I saw what happened in game number 1. It did not make me happy. In fact, it made me rather sad. I don't like losing to 2 Rax builds. I was going to go open pool gas here, and actually getting this gas off the early pool kind of makes me think he's going to want to do something a little bit aggressive here. I think it's rather likely that we see a Roach Warren go down at like 19 drones, and we might see, you know, the triple Roach Railgun-esque build, right? Where you move across the map with a couple Roaches, you build Ravagers. You're not really committing to it, right? You're, of course, droning behind it. But by doing that, you do force the Terran to not expand in the low ground, maybe. You force bunkers, you force more units, you force an SCV pull. All of these things, of course, which are valuable and wonderful to these Zerg players. Again, they're just trying to find an advantage. But we don't see any Roach Warren down just yet. Just a couple Zerglings. And this may just be for a rather quick speed. Maybe catch off BYUN off guard because, you know, if your speed's done at 3 minutes instead of 3:30, that is, that's a bit of a problem, right? It's not the timing you have in your head. Thank you, Viking Prime. Yeah, game number 1, I had it muted on my audio mixer because I've been running DreamHack today. Or I was on the B stream today, but I also ran production for it. And on that one, instead of just a brief 10-second ident, as BYUN will realize that this is a pool first, by the way. Instead of just running a brief 10-second ident like what we got here, I was provided with like full music files, like 1 minute and 30 seconds. So the way we do that one is we play the music, we fade it in, we fade it out, etc., etc. And at the end of it, I just mute the audio so we don't have to play with the rest of it. It's easy that way. Point being, I had stuff muted, so that's what happened in game number 1. But all those snafus are now fixed, and we're ready for game number 2. Here we got the player intro music. That's all rather nice. That's all dandy. And we just got to figure out what exactly BYUN is going for. Right now, nothing weird. It's Reaper Expand. This is what we have come to expect out of any Terran player in any TVC, in any game, on any server. Although, I mean, that's not quite fair, right? Sometimes we see 3CC play. Sometimes we see Hellion Banshee play. Sometimes we see T-Rex. We saw that from game number 1 for BYUN. And while it wasn't all that successful, the follow-up was. Sometimes we just see, I don't know, shenanigans. Certainly shenanigans are always possible, but and on this game, BYUN's not going to do anything too crazy, I don't think. Because there we go. We got Cyclone on the way, of course, defensive Cyclone here. I don't think this is a game that BYUN plays mech, although mech has found itself into the build order zeitgeist of Terran players ever since Gumiho returned. I've been talking about this for a bit, but it's kind of funny. Right? We see Gumiho go, and he's like, yeah, I'm back, and I play mech, of course. I mean, that is one of the things that Gumiho is just really known for. And then we see Maru playing mech in TVT and TVZ, right? In the DreamHack Grand Finals and in the PC Foreman Grand Finals, where he did beat BYUN in 6 games. But 2 of those games he won were mech versus bio, and he was the mech player, which, who are you and what have you done with Maru? But I'm seeing it on ladder more. I'm seeing it on, in EPT Cups more. It's like suddenly the arrival of Gumiho has reminded people that mech is valid. Mech is viable. Because it's not like there were any changes, any balance patches. I mean, we have not seen a balance patch ever since the Void Ray buff. So it's not like, you know, oh, yeah, the maps are suddenly good. No, the maps have not really changed. Not like the, not really like anything has changed here. Now, this Cyclone will be able to knock down the Speed Overlord. That's going to be nice. Normally, the Speed Overlord would not die like that. And look at this. I kind of expect to see the Cyclone in that drop, but answer is no. 7 Marines are now going to run across the map here. We got a Raven. Oh, we got a Raven underway, and this is still bio. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of mech units come on out here. I mean, we got Cyclones, we got Hellions. We got a Raven underway, and I'm like, is this mech? Is this actually mech? But we're still only on 2 gas. And yeah, we got more barracks underway. So no. BYUN just going for a little bit of a fake out. Not even that much of a fake out. Just putting the doubt in my mind that maybe we're going to see something funky. But I do love the Raven play. Ravens save you so much money, potentially in a TVC, because you're spending, what, 250 minerals to pop on a scan and knock down a creep. But if you can do that for free, well, for Blanky, for however much a Raven costs, that's a good deal. That works out rather well for you indeed. Again, assuming it works, assuming you don't lose the Raven rather early into a Queen or something. But even then, right, if you can find the value, you're going to find the value. And I like what BYUN has opted to do here, by the way. A, this kind of telegraphs some sort of mech play, right, with the Cyclone added on in. And B, well, you can actually kill off Overlords pretty quickly. Maybe a Queen if they're out on their lonesome. And, well, BYUN's going to get an SCV for his troubles. Where's this Raven, by the way? Okay, Raven's going to look to dive on into the natural. Meanwhile, of course, we have this medevac in the main base, and that's a dead medevac. BYUN is not going to have any harassment on the right-hand side as Hellion Cyclone tries to find something, but will be unsuccessful there. All right, so now this 4th base is actually going to come under significant threat because the Cyclone has a lock on, and it's kind of rather paltry damage that you might normally see. Again, it's 4 or 5 Hellions, doesn't really do all that much. Well, with the lock on, it actually is going to get in the base. Is BYUN going to commit? Oh, he does. He gets the cancel at like a 50% base, and yes, he will lose this army, but that's honestly kind of fine because he got the cancel on the 4th base. It's 6 minutes here. Really great job here from BYUN. Granted, his 3rd base is not on location yet, so it's not like he has got a lot of money to play with, but he will. And he is here on 50 workers. Granted, the one downside of everything that BYUN has committed, or that BYUN has committed to, is that Solar has been allowed to drone pretty much without end. Oh, look at this. We got some Baneling drops. I think these are going to be Baneling. Might be Zergling drops, actually. We got some Overlord drops coming on in, and I love seeing a player do this. They're like, look, I already invested into Overlord speed. I already got a decently timed lair. I might as well do something with it. And especially considering this is so far out of the meta right now. Like, how many times in your games, how many times in a professional match have you seen Overlord drops really be a thing? The answer is not many, unless you play a far more interesting set of games than I do. And that means now that BYUN, he's going to be a little bit blindsided here as he tries to find something on the other side of the map. This double drop, not going to be all that successful. Zergling's in the main base. We're going to have to see how much damage they are able to achieve as, again, BYUN, he is just getting shooed away. He's not finding the damage that he is looking for in this game. I mean, he's gotten 2 drones. That's just about it. But now Zerglings, they're going to find their way on into the main base here. And already, that's going to be a much bigger bounty than BYUN has found over the entirety of this game. And yeah, there's going to be a rally. And yeah, some of these Zerglings will get picked on off, but you know, that's the benefit of a drop. Right, Overlords can potentially run on away, but nah, it wasn't quite positioned properly, so it's not really going to get that much. Nice target fire from BYUN. A couple Banelings will kick the bucket. We'll go down here. Now, I kind of wish we saw this Raven more actively on the map. Right, like, Raven, sure, auto turret harass, it's going to be nice the entire game, that much is true, but I mean, stick it with the Hellions. Knock down the creep spread, because Solar, despite everything that has happened, despite the active Hellions and the Cyclone and whatever on the map, Solar is halfway across the map at 8 minutes in this game. He's got fantastic creep spread around his 4th base. He's going to start building up to his 5th base rather soon. And it's going to be rather difficult as we got a ping here from Solar. He's like, I'm getting dropped. Reminder that, as Widow Mines, they're going to find their way on in. And this time, well, that's going to be a little bit more here. What do we got? Collective 6 and 6 12 workers have gone down. That's a little bit nicer here for the Terran players. Another 13 units of something have died at the hands of this Raven. So 16 total workers have died. And hey, that's starting to become something. It's starting to become part of the damage that BYUN has been looking for. But just because it's part of something doesn't mean it's exactly what he needs just yet. Because BYUN, he's not really getting aggressive. I mean, yeah, there are drops everywhere, sure. There are Widow Mines everywhere, that's fine. But he's not really leaning into the Zerg player all that much. He will get 2 queens, nice job. He's not doing much to curtail this creep. It's really on the middle of the map here. Solar can put it pretty much wherever he wants. he's not doing all that much to do much to curtail the army of here of Solar. I mean, 2-2 is already done, so BYUN is behind on upgrades against Zerg, who's got Ling Bait Hydra, which again, that's not the craziest thing. You do expect to be much closer to upgrades when you have that, but still, Hive is just about done. BYUN has done no damage to Solar. The Lurker Den is done. We're going to see Lurker upgrades and Vipers starting soon. And life is going to get very hard for the Shopify Terran player. Now, he does have some tanks, as he's sitting on one, actually. And he does have double factory? I'm sorry, he's going to have triple factory tank production rather soon. And that's something, right? It's kind of funny. That seems to be BYUN's style when he first ran into Lurker play. He's like, ah, yes, double factory tank is going to be my response. It's going to be good enough. And then he's like, okay, I'm still losing to this. What if I add an extra factory? What if I build 3 tanks at a time? That seems to be worthwhile. So we're going to have to see whether that response is going to be enough here to surmount what Solar has been going for. Now, BYUN is all over the map. And bears noting, right? He's got drops in the natural. I don't know how much it did. He's got drops in the 5th. He's got this Raven just repetitively harassing the main base. He is doing a decent job at trying to keep Solar from expanding, but Solar is doing an even better job at making sure that he maintains his economy. Either way, anyways, only 18 workers have died in a game that BYUN has committed himself extremely hard to killing workers. All right, so now it looks like BYUN's starting to get a little bit of a push here, but lurkers are already underway. I don't know if we have, yeah, no lurkers on the map just yet, but they are starting to get morphed on, and this base is going to go up rather easily. I think an Overlord died, but whatever. Not all that important at this point in the game. Solar has more empty supply than he has max supply, so he's going to be fine there. Nice Baneling connection on top of the rest. 6 Marines. Now, BYUN, he's trying to establish a pushing position here on the left-hand side, which makes sense. I mean, it's better to knock down newer bases than it is older bases. But that makes me almost wish BYUN would push on in through the 12 o'clock position. I mean, it's not a mining base, so it's not relevant yet. It will be in just about another minute and a half, 2 minutes. But Banelings are going to look to roll on in here. BYUN does not quite have the repair in time. So the fourth base is now dead for BYUN. He's back on 3 bases. He is supply blocked because command centers are a lot of supply. And it just feels like a game where BYUN doesn't have agency. All right, he's not really successful at any of his pushes, although he will cancel this base, I believe. But, you know, his 3-3 is late. It's 13 minutes. 3-3 is not yet done. He got a Ghost Academy, but we have no ghosts on the field just yet. He has triple factory production, but no tanks. Again, supply block has something to do with that one. And he's just not... Again, he's just not finding... I mean, this Raven has been incredibly custom efficient, but he's just not finding exactly what he's looking for here. Is now we're going to see a burrow up on top of BYUN, and that's going to be a problem. I'm very surprised that we've not seen any command center or supply depots get made here by BYUN. He has been supply blocked for a solid minute and a half. Like, yeah, getting these command centers will unsupply block him, but command centers do not build nearly as quickly as supply depots do. Like, he is... been pretty far from maxed out for a while. And yes, I mean, he's building more stuff. He's building more command centers, and he's building more just building more stuff in general. So that's nice. He got a couple additional command centers as well. But a 200 supply BYUN is much happier right now than a 160 supply BYUN here. The Banelings are going to look to come crashing on in. More workers go down. The base is going to start burning once again. And this is another dead command center. Right as it finishes, it dies again. And this just feels like a game where Solar is just gripped by the horns. And I'm not really sure what BYUN is supposed to do. I mean, he's doing the stuff. He's trying to sit on the edge of creep and get pushes going. But this creep spread is so far away from the base that Solar has that it's a bit of a problem. Yeah, Zergling's going to come crashing on in once again. They do have +3 attack. They do have crack. The tanks die in an instant here. This last one's going to last a little bit longer. But BYUN's not even winning fights against Zerglings. Not really. I mean, yeah, Banelings are there. That is forcing BYUN to micro just a little bit, but... yeah, okay, so we're gonna Zerglings. They're gonna run on in. This time it is a orbital, so it's not gonna go down to a bunch of Zerglings that you can just lift it. But I mean, look at this. BYUN, he's down an army supply. He's down 30 odd workers. He's down significantly in his economy. His 4th base has never really been mining, and Solar just owns the map. Solar has creep just about everywhere he wants it to be. I mean, yeah, it looks like it's stalled out in the middle a little bit as there's no active tumors. He doesn't have it perfectly around this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is his 7th base? There we go. doesn't really have it around his 7th base, but other than that, I mean, it's like 2 scans to get on top of any base here. But 2 scans here, you know, more than 2 scans onto this base. It's such a stalling tactic that allows Solar to probably take 2 or 3 fights before BYUN is ever going to be successful in getting onto his turf, really threatening a base. And now, well, even with that point here, Solar, it's his turn to get aggressive here. Lings, Banes, Lurkers, they're all going to go in a nice blinding clouds on top of the bio as well, just making sure that there's nothing happening. We're going to see the command center start to go down. It's going to burn here. Banelings come crashing on into the Ghosts, and yes, Ghosts are not as good, or Banelings are not nearly as good against Ghosts as they are against like everything else, because Ghosts are not light units. Still, a lot of Ghosts will go down here. Solar at 180 supply, BYUN at 130, and Solar's got a bank. He's at 5k, 2k. BYUN is not. BYUN has his army. He is sitting here at just about the army supply of his opponent. That's fine. But other than that, I mean, there's just not a lot going for him. As for now, nice. These are going to be some nice snipes, and it will succeed in knocking down a couple Lurkers. Actually, more than that, it looks like most of the defensive Lurkers here from Solar are going to go on down on this side, but we still have 4 Lurkers on the map. We got 1 Viper. Hopefully we'll see some more. I feel like you need, you know, say 2 to 3 Vipers seems like a much better number to have, just again, so you can abduct tanks, get blinding clouds, you're fine. But the benefit, as Raynor once adroitly said in a interview back last year when he was talking about this new Lurker style that he's been playing, the benefit of Lurker style is it means your army is unlocked to move on the map. You have Lurkers that are able to be defensive at home. It's so hard for the Terran to push on in that you can, your Zerglings, they don't have to be with the army. They can find their way on into a 3rd base. Knock down a planetary, knock down a bunch of other stuff, find the backline Ghost here, and however many Ghosts they get, I mean, it is minerals for gas. Absolutely worthwhile there for Solar. GG. It's not going to be enough here for BYUN. He tried, he struggled, he did not win. In the upper left, in the red, he is tied up with BYUN here in this series, looking to punch his ticket to code A at the very least. He is, for Katsa Gaming, Solar. And in the bottom right, in the blue, looking to recapture some of that sublimity he showed in game number 1. He is the blue Terran player for the Shopify Rebellion, BYUN. I love it. You know, AlphaX, I tweeted about this. AlphaX tweeted about this. The Freaking Global Twitter account tweeted about this as well. But I love it because GSL qualifiers replay casting live now. Replay casting live. Anyone else have a problem with that? I mean, not a problem, but anyone else see the humor? And yeah, we're it's a VOD live. Wait, what? It's a replay live. Yeah, 100%. Although I guess that's kind of what the Olympics do, right? They get out, they take the best stuff, and then they play it live in prime time, and it's a live replay. Sure, something like that. So nothing crazy from Solar here. I did not see the timing on I did not see the gas mining, so I'm not really sure whether this is Solar style speed, where of course you get a 4-minute speed instead. It looks like, yeah, this is just standard speed timings. 330 speed is going to be the play. Lightshade is a little bit too small to get away with the greedier speed build, where you get speed at 4 minutes, you delay your gas, but it's fine because honestly, 9 times out of 10, the first 2 Hellions are not going to dive on in. And even then, you got Queens, you got slow Circlings, you're on creep, you're probably fine. Yeah, honestly though, I felt so bad. I did DreamHack B stream today with Chicken Man, and I am simultaneously very jealous of him, and also very glad I'm not him, because he lives in Hawaii. He lives on Hawaii actually, and that means that he is 6 hours. He is EDT -6. Or PST -3, right? So that is fantastic. When he covers EPT Cups for Korea on Saturday, he starts at 5 p.m. He does it for like 3 hours. It's like 8 o'clock. He can sit back, relax, you know, have a beer, do whatever. and it's a good day. But on the flip side, he did DreamHack with me this morning, and that meant he had a 4 a.m. wake up. 4 a.m., 3 to 4 a.m. is just about the worst start time for a broadcast. Like local time if you're trying to cast it, because it's a little bit too early to really go to bed and get any sleep, because you just won't be able to get to sleep for the most part. But on the flip side, it's a little bit too late to just stay up and say, I'm going to do it, because it's going to turn into an all-nighter, and you don't want to do that one either. So props to him for not dying here today, for maintaining his sanity. And I believe he's covering some OSC replays on his channel on Twitch. So yeah, the passion, it sustains us. It maintains us. It drives us. All of these hilly casterisms. Yeah, something like that. But it looks like BYUN, we're going to see an armory go down here. Is this just going to be Hellion drops? See, we're going to go up to 3 Hellions, and there's going to be a Liberator behind this. Huh. Overlord will go down as well. Again, with a rather interesting idea. And, oh, we actually, yeah, okay, we're going to see Marines in the main base, and Hellions look to dive out into the natural. I think that's the play. And a Liberator maybe behind the middle line. Just trying to hit as many places at once to punish Solar for any perceived greed, any perceived lack of multitasking. Not really sure whether this is something that BYUN is like seeing maybe a weakness in Solar's play, or whether he just thinks, okay, I think this is a good build. It's going to be fine. Anyway, third base underway here from BYUN. This drop is just really just going to sit at the front, I guess. And I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing BYUN do much with it. Right, yes, it is only 5 Marines, but he got a bunch of Hellions. He got Marines early, like, he got a Liberator. He has committed, in some semblance of some committed fashion, to trying to get something done from Solar. But it feels like every time BYUN does this, he's like, I am doing aggressive thing. And then it's like, actually, Solar already has stuff. He's already in a fantastic position. He's kind of got the read on BYUN. Then BYUN's like, oh crap, what do I do? I mean, this isn't working. The Liberator finds 1 kill, and I'm not even sure it was a drone, because there's already a Spore there. It's running home. This is the second game in a row where BYUN has not gotten anything done. He has told himself that he's going to be aggressive. He's going to cut some corners on his economy to make sure that he can get Marines out earlier, or medevac, or get on into something that way. Get that Liberator out as well, and then because Solar's in such a good defensive position, he just can't get anything done. Let's see, Solar going on up to 5 gas now. So I think we're going to see Mutatech out of this. You get the kind of the, I don't know if I want to call it Cyril style, but it's the slightly faster ground upgrades, but still Muta style that we have seen a bunch of Zerg players enjoy. Because traditionally, you look at Mutatech, you're like, okay, look, it's going to be down on upgrades this entire time. This is not going to be great, but Evo Chambers will complete just about now, as this is a dead queen. Already, BYUN's going to find some bounty, and actually, no, the queens are close enough. It's not even a dead queen here. But we do need to see Solar spend this gas one way or the other. There we go, 1-1 underway. So it's not going to be perfect. He will be down just about, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds on BYUN's 1-1, which is significant. That is the timing that BYUN can look to hit. But, you know, it's not the full-on, like, full upgrade defense, the full upgrade time, timing that we see so often if its player goes, like, 2-base muta or quick mutas in any way. But, I mean, we don't even see the Spire go down yet. This actually may, no, I'm sorry, it's only 5 gas, so this may just be Ling Bane. Anyway, once again, Solar, his creep spread is fantastic. He's not quite as good around the 4th base as it was the last game around this time, but again was a little bit more active with his drop, with his Hellions. So no issues there, and rapidly this creep is pushing on forward here. And even with it not being maybe quite as good, it still is just about 2 scans away from really getting anything done. 3 scans if there is no successful creep clear. Now, I gotta say, you talk about it not being at 2 a.m. PST. I kind of miss living in PDT or PST, because then it's like when GSL was on Fridays, I could go home after you know, a day at work at an internship or a day of school, whatever. And GSL would be on like right around 9 o'clock at night, so I could go turn GSL on, you know, have a beer, eat my dinner. No, I'm sorry, it started at like 7. It was the best thing ever. Is oh man, sit there one more time, eat the friendly fire on the SCVs, but now Solar, he's just gonna pull him back. He's like, you know what, I can use these Zerglings for better things. All right, so Baneling speed is done, but 1-1 is not yet done here. That's the timing that Solar is looking for. He's down 20 army supply, and the tanks on the high ground are going to cause a problem. But once he hits upgrade parity, of course, Ling Bane is perhaps the most cost-effective composition, or supply-effective composition on creep. And actually, Solar's army, even if he's down at army supply, is just a little bit more expensive than BYUN's. It's down 100 gas, but it's up a lot of minerals, even as it is down army supply. And that's actually, I don't know if that surprises me, but anyway. I don't know, that feels a little bit weird. It's not, I mean, it's just how it works, but you feel like the player that is down 20 army supplies is also going to be down money. Unless they're a Protoss player, but yeah, Zerg's kind of got a similar idea just a little bit, and then they have a lot more money to make on up for it. Anyway, we got a big Ling Bane counterattack coming on into the third base, because you know what, Solar subscribes to the idea that if you're pushing me, I should probably be pushing you too. Like, that sounds like fun here. So, BYUN, he's got a nice sieged up position. These 4 tanks at the front, excuse me, are just making it rather difficult for Solar to attack on into things, and of course that is why we saw him move across the map, right? It is Lightshade. It is a bunch of different attack paths, so every time your opponent pushes on into you, you can just take a different path and attack into them. But Solar does have to be careful here, right? There's not a lot of extra creep spread on top of what the hatchery does provide, so it doesn't have quite what he wants to make sure the hatchery doesn't come under fire. Now with the Marines firing strong, this is not the easiest hold. It looks like actually Solar's just going to give it up. He's like, you know what? I don't like this. My creep's not where it needs to be. My queens are low on energy. This tank position is just too strong. Okay, I'm going to give this up for now. I'm going to lose the base, but I already have the bottom left here. I got the middle bottom left as well. I'm going to be totally happy there. And that is a much better position to look to hold. I mean, maybe not here because the creep spread is not super far, but everywhere else, a fantastic position to just try to defend and grow from. All right, so again, BYUN, I'm kind of surprised we're seeing these eggs get used, but you know what, why not? You know, when there's larva, might as well use it. Allen's going to get some decent connections here, but what I like from BYUN in this game is he is just a lot more proactive on the map. I mean, okay, we got this drop on the left-hand side. It's actually finding a lot more value. That's another thing we can talk about. BYUN is actually getting damage done with his drops just a little bit with his pressure. Yeah, it's only 11 workers have died, but he's gotten 6 queens. He has knocked down a lot of this creep. This creep on the left-hand side needs to be dealt with, of course, but he's kind of formed a bulkhead for himself with this army on the right-hand side, these tanks, and these Marines on the low ground. That is a hard spot for Solar to break. Now, not having that army with the main push of BYUN is going to be a bit of a problem. That's just a lot of dead army supply that BYUN's not really using, but hey, look, it means he can do things like this. Run on in there, get half damage on a Baneling Nest, maybe he kills it off next time. And just going from there. Now, Solar, he does have Lurkers underway. He has Vipers underway. He's just trying to play the same game that he played in game number 2. Sit back, defend, not take too much damage, maybe get some damage done to my opponent if there is room for it, if I'm able to get the counterattacks. But really just wait for Lurkers, wait for Hive, wait for Vipers, wait for all of these things that if BYUN is not properly situated, BYUN is going to suffer from. Now, BYUN does have his 4th base done. It's not on location yet, but he does have that fourth command center done. So he's not too far behind here. And how many factories does he have? It's only 2. It's a 2 factory siege tank, not 3, not yet. But these Liberators actually may cause a bit of a problem because we don't have Hydras. We have like 1 on the field. That doesn't really matter for now. Yeah, here we go. Solar's going to look to come crashing on in. Blinding Clouds on top of most of the tanks here. Banelings looking to make their connections. And you know what? They're going to get decent ones here. But BYUN's going to have some great target fire on the backside. Then all the tanks go down. That's the big deal. Right, any time you can reset a tank count. I mean, yes, there are 6 on the map, but a lot of them are on this right-hand side, which really is not relevant to this game, right? The tanks on the right-hand side, they kill the 4th base off, and that's something, but they're just not relevant to this game, and BYUN kind of has them ruined on out. There's not a lot he can do to get them back home unless he just wants to rally back home and move around, and he really doesn't seem all that interested in doing that either. Anyway, the Lurkers here are going to solidly defend this base. Nice target fire from the tanks. And the Marines. Does this drop? Okay, Liberator not getting much here. Where did the drop? Looks like the drop got killed on off as well. Here we have Zerglings looking to just clean this up right now. Lurker will burrow just out of range here of the bio, but hey, one tank does go down, and again, any tank that BYUN can kill, or that Solar can kill, excuse me, is a tank that BYUN does not have for the next fight. It is a tank that does not allow him to deal with the lurkers as well as he would like. Oh, these tanks are just a juicy blinding cloud target here. Yeah, these tanks are not going to get. They got like one shut off. Not exactly worthwhile. And the second set of tanks are going to be paired up as well. You gotta split your tanks, BYUN. Otherwise, this is just going to keep happening. I love what I see here as well. Notice he's blinding cloud the bio. He's like, yeah, if you're microing backwards, you're not doing damage to me. You're not killing off my army. You're not doing anything like that. So I'm just gonna blinding cloud your Marines and your Marauders, and it's gonna be a problem. As we do have this push, by the way, that we've talked about not being relevant over the majority of this game. It will find its way out into the natural here. It will succeed in finally knocking down that Baneling Nest, but at what cost? Oh, he's gonna get the medevacs as well. Nice job here from Solar. And now Solar, once again, he's just found himself a dominant position in this game. BYUN only on 3 bases. Zerglings will find their way on into the natural. And these are soon to be, okay, not +3 yet, but they are soon to be +3 Zerglings. They do have crack at the very least. That makes them a scary, scary threat indeed. Now, personal cloaking is underway. These ghosts will be just a little bit better. They will be able to survive some insanity. At the very least, as we will see some nice snipes coming on down. A lot of these lurkers do go down. Was that a... Okay, those were snipes. Those were not tank shots. But, I mean, we got to look at the game state here. Solar has 1, 2, 3. He has 6 bases. He's taking his 6th right now. BYUN is on 3. BYUN is down 30-odd workers. He's down 20, 30 army supply. He's down tech a little bit. It does not feel great here for the Rebellion Terran. Because once again, it just feels like he failed to do really enough damage. And then behind that Solar grew. Yeah, he lost the base early on, but whatever. He already had the expand. I mean, this is a promising push, though. BYUN or Solar is not in position for this whatsoever. We just got so many lurkers. They're going to burrow on in. One spine, 2 spines. A lot of the bio will go on down here, but actually nice scans. Means a lot of these lurkers have died, and this drop is still successful. Still going to try to knock this base down. But now these are +3 Zerglings with crack. Tiny drops are no worry to them whatsoever. And I love this from Solar. He's like, yeah, you got a sieged up position. That sounds fun. That's cute. I'm just going to attack where your tanks are not. And yes, there are 7 tanks on the field, but that's not a lot of tanks here. No, it's only 1 really defending this 3rd base. So Zerglings will find their way on in once again. They will start to find some, maybe not a lot of economic damage, but at least knocking down the rally of BYUN for the time being. And what this has done, it has swept any semblance of anything from the right side of the map here. This is now Solar's, even if he doesn't have to have creep spread. This entrenched position that BYUN has had over the majority of this game is not really there anymore. Now BYUN, he's down to 39 workers, 85 army supply. He's down like 80 total supply in this game. Now we will have another burrow coming on in. Snipes attempted, but Zerglings got on top of the ghost in time here. We're going to see lurkers burrow up on top of these tanks. Everything goes down. Zerglings getting on top of the last tank as well. BYUN just about ready to fall below 100 supply for the first time in quite a while in this game. This 4th base will get broken here as the lurkers burrow on up once again. Hydra's even fighting well against the just smatterings of bio that does remain. And this should do it. Banelings are going to crash on, and they're even going to go into Marauders because you know what? Solar doesn't care. He takes the game. He qualifies for Code A off of day 1 and guarantees himself.